Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Um, we're going to share a quote of the day because I believe AT&T cut our podcast in half yesterday. Um, so this is our story here. Uh, this is the heat map. Meta is down a little bit. Amazon is pretty flat. Apple continues to shine. Uh, Nvidia and Tesla is up 4.5% today. So that is the story there. So we're going to stop the share and go over to our charts. This is the NASDAQ. I'm not sure if it has come up yet. I'm just going to double check. It looks like a chart has not come up yet. Now it has. This is the NASDAQ. It's bouncing back from yesterday's sell-off in the growth stocks. And it looks like it's going to be a struggle with AT&T again today. They did change the router, but it hasn't made any difference. Um, Here is the bounce back from the S&P 500 as well, up 0.28%. I'm just going to pause for a second. We are back, and our word of the day is superannuated. Superannuated is the word of the day. Obsolete through age and new technological or intellectual developments. And our quote of the day from yesterday, I'm pretty sure this didn't get on air. Do your duty and a little more, and the future will take care of itself by Andrew Carnegie, an industrialist. So that. Now we're going to go back to share our screens. First, we're going to look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It has kind of been trending higher and leading. Hasn't quite got to the pivot zone yet, but it's doing pretty well. And I am going to move on to our indexes, see how they're doing. XLF has been a shining symbol. It's pulling back a little bit today. Energy continues its bounce. Let's look at the other financial index. Amazing. This one keeps rising while the other financial is going down. This is aerospace pulling back to the 10-day moving average. Communications, it's pulling back a little bit as well as leave. Google is actually up and Meta is down. This is AT&T, who's given us a lot of trouble. Continuing on, this is utilities, real estate, not much movement there. Biotech actually got a nice bounce today. The other biotech as well. Software, pretty flat, about the same place as yesterday. Technology, is slightly up today after selling off a little bit yesterday. Infrastructure continue working on its base. Semiconductors, big, strong bounce back in semiconductors. Take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up strong. Our airlines are getting into the pivot zone, definitely. Leisure activities continues performing well. Notice this in the profit zone. Carnival seems to be money flowing into this continually. Take a look at a couple of more. Norwegian Cruise Line still kind of working on a base. Viking kind of holding steady. Industrials pulling back a little bit today. Healthcare, which got a pretty big bounce yesterday, is pulling back today off 0.8%. Consumer staples up 0.13%. Materials, building materials, up over 1% this morning. Mining and metals. Wow, look at that one. A rocket ship, almost up 4% on the day. And housing, construction, and finally, uranium. Now we go on to our news. Altria Group was upgraded to neutral from sell at UBS, raised the target to 59 from 47. And that's kind of where they are. So they're a little late to the game. Constellation Brands distribute a lot of alcohol. Q1 adjusted EPS $3.22 versus $3.31. You'd think it would go down, and no, it's going up on that news. Earnings were down 10%, and it's up 4.5% today. Ross Stores was upgraded to buy from hold at Jefferies, raising target. I believe that's to $150. They have $4,150 in this news item, but I think they forgot to put the shift key on to the dollar sign to show up. It initially went up and then selling off, people taking their profits. On to Tesla. June, China made EV sales up 0.8% year over year, first rise in 9 months. Q2, China made deliveries fall 6.8% year over year, third such fall in a row, sees heightened threat from Chinese rivals. But still, it's up 4.6% today. On to energy, industrial, and materials. AeroVironment, 3.53 share secondary, priced at 248. It falls on that. Somebody must have known something yesterday. Big move yesterday. Brightview Holdings cuts full year revenue to $2.68 billion. And their shares fall 10.8%. Greenbrier, Q3 adjusted EPS $1.86 on revenues of $842.7 million. And that is good news for them. It is up 20% today. Crosses the 200-day moving average, and their earnings are up 75%. So that is great news for them. On to American Express. Raises quarterly dividend by 17% to 82 cents. And their shares are rising on that news. Bank of Ozark announces an increase to quarterly common stock dividend by 2.33% to 44 cents. Goldman Sachs said it plans a 33% increase in common stock dividend to $4 a share. JP Morgan said to increase quarterly dividend to $1.50 per share and authorize 50 billion share repurchase program after bank stress test. Morgan Stanley announces 7.5-cent dividend increase to $1 and authorization of renewed 20 billion multi-year common equity share repurchase program. On to State Street announces a planned 11% dividend increase by 11% to 84 cents. And State Street is getting pretty close to the profit zone here, up 2% today. Wells Fargo said it expects SCB to decrease 2.5% from 3.8% and intends to raise dividend by 12.5% to 45 cents. And their shares are moving up on that news. Onto healthcare. Centene shares tumble as it withdraws 2025 guidance after saying it expects 1.8 billion reduction in net risk adjustment revenue. On to Amvent Biopharma, 2.5 million share spot secondary price at 1950. And they're down 0.34%. Onto technology, media, and telecom. Apple was upgraded to hold from underperform, and Jefferies saying they believe tariff-driven pull-in demand and share recovery in China would drive June quarter revenue EPS growth of roughly 8% to 10%, 5 to 9% above consensus, and above Apple's LCD revenue growth guide. On to Intel. New CEO is exploring a big change in contract manufacturing business to win major customers. Two people familiar with the matter told Reuters. On to Netflix. Has held conversations with Spotify about partnering. So Netflix is down 0.9%. See what Spotify is doing. Spotify pulls back to the 20-day moving average. They discussed partnering a number of projects such as music award show or live concert series. People close to the conversation said. On to Paramount. Paramount has held conversations. No, actually, Paramount has not held conversations. They have settled the lawsuit by U.S. President Donald Trump over an interview broadcast in October, agreeing to pay $16 million, which will be allocated to future Trump presidential library. And I believe there is a future payment as well, because I think it was a total of $80 million going to be paid. Thoma Bravo has negotiated the terms of potential deal to acquire Verint Systems. Bloomberg report citing people familiar with the matter. And Verint Systems is up 12.2% today. That is everything we're looking at there. Take a look at Palantir, which is bouncing back from yesterday, up 1.26%. WGS, another holding of ours, is up 80, actually pretty flat, but down 0.5% today. And it's potentially looking like high tide flag, but high tide flags normally have to go up 100% and kind of have this kind of downdraft, but that's what it kind of looks like to me. GE Vernova continues its pullback from yesterday. And let me see if we missed any of the big cap tech. This is Amazon pulling back slightly. and take a look at the big cap tech index. This has come up quite a bit. This is 3 times leverage. So you need to be careful with this because it doesn't really move. Even though it still may be going up slightly, you may be losing money. So this is Apple, Meta. We do have Meta and Apple in our portfolio. And we looked at Netflix, Tesla, Google, Meta, NVIDIA. So I think that just about covers it. You can look at Broadcom, got a bounce as well. So growth looks like it's mostly back on today. And that is our show as we wrap up for the day. And it looks like we didn't have any cutouts from AT&T today. So we're thankful for that. Hope you go out there and make a difference today. Try to inspire others, and let's just make this world a better place.